Welcome back to my channel. Hope you have a great time relaxing. The city buzzed with a late-night energy that seeped into the penthouse, mirroring the wild thump of Myra's heart as she struggled with the door handle. The night spun around her, laughter and cocktails intertwining, leaving her senses in a delightful haze and her movements unsteady. As she crossed the threshold, the chill of the marble floor beneath her feet sharply contrasted with the warmth that surrounded her, a warmth that felt deeper than the summer air clinging to her skin. Her crimson dress clung to her like a secret, bold yet fitting, its delicate fabric whispering of the night's hidden desires. The city's humidity wrapped around her, tracing every curve and contour with a daring intimacy. The dress whispered secrets, just as the woman did, drawing you in with an allure that felt both thrilling and wrong. The clock on the mantelpiece glowed defiantly at 2 a.m., its harsh red numbers blurring before her eyes, a silent reminder of the hours lost, a truth she dared not confront. The night wrapped around her, a haunting melody that echoed her confusion. In that moment, Damien emerged from the shadows, a haunting presence in the dimly lit foyer of the penthouse. He appeared suddenly, a comforting surprise, his strides confident as he hurried to stop her before she could ascend the stairs. Myra's breath caught as she melted into his embrace, his arms around her feeling achingly familiar, stirring emotions that felt both thrilling and wrong. Damien's hands, firm and unwavering, found their place at her waist, their warmth searing through the delicate fabric of her dress. Their touch sparked something deep within her, a warmth that had little to do with the sultry summer night or the drinks she had consumed. His touch sparked a memory, a connection that lingered between them, his fingers gliding over her skin as he led her away from the looming danger of the stairs. In her hazy state, Myra felt the fabric of her dress cling to her as Damien guided her toward the hidden refuge of her room. The movement unveiled a glimpse of her thigh, the delicate lace of her undergarments teasingly visible, as if it were a secret shared only with the moonlight filtering through the window. She hesitated for a moment, but the warmth of his embrace reassured her, a silent promise to ensure she reached her bed, no matter the cost. As she moved toward her room, every sensation intensified, the plush carpet beneath her feet, the warmth of Damien's chest pressing against her back, and the intoxicating blend of his cologne with the night air that surrounded them. As they approached the bed, Myra's knees buckled, and she fell onto the edge of the mattress, her eyelids fluttering under the burden of her fatigue. Damien knelt before her, each movement charged with unspoken longing. He grasped her foot gently, his fingers skillfully unfastening the straps of her high heels, revealing an intimacy that felt both thrilling and wrong. His knuckles brushed her calf, a brief contact that ignited a spark of awareness, sending shivers beneath her skin. She gazed at him, her heart racing, as he gently slipped off her shoes, an act of intimacy that felt both thrilling and wrong in the moment. As he turned to go, Myra's fingers curled around his wrist, desperate to hold on to the fleeting moment between them. "Stay," she breathed, the word a soft plea that lingered in the charged silence around them. Damien paused, his eyes entwined with hers, the turmoil inside him illuminated by the soft glow of the moonlight that filled the space. For a fleeting heartbeat, Myra believed he might surrender, might let the electric tension between them draw him closer. But then he withdrew, his hands slipping from hers as he stood, leaving her yearning in the silence that followed. "You should rest," he murmured, his voice a deep whisper that sent shivers down her spine. Myra watched him walk away, her heart racing as she sank onto the bed, surrendering to the ache of longing. The cool silk of the sheets whispered secrets, a stark contrast to the warmth of Damien's lingering touch. As she cocooned herself in the bedding, her dress clinging to her waist, a bittersweet pang of disappointment intertwined with the fading haze of her intoxication. In the quiet of her room, the city's distant whispers wrapped around her like a secret. Myra closed her eyes, letting the weight of the world fade as she drifted into a dream she knew she shouldn't chase. In the depths of her dreams, shadowed corridors whispered secrets of tender touches, where the boundaries of stepmother and stepson faded into nothingness. Deep down, she sensed that the night's events had ignited a spark that would forever change everything between them. As Myra awoke, it felt like the tide hesitated, pulling away from the shore, leaving behind a longing that lingered in the air. The morning light filtered through the sheer curtains, wrapping the room in a golden glow, yet the lingering chill in the air hinted at unspoken tensions. She awoke, her body weighed down and her mind clouded by the echoes of the night before. The cool sheets caressed her bare skin, a refreshing reminder of the heat that had consumed her when she slipped back into the penthouse. Last night flickered in my mind, a blend of city lights and the quiet touch of Damien's hands, a moment both electric and forbidden. She remembered how he had taken her clothes off, his touch a mix of softness and urgency, each caress igniting a shiver that lingered long after. The memory sent a thrill through her, a blend of thankfulness for his support and an unsettling recognition of the lines they had dared to blur. With a heavy heart, Mira slipped from the warm embrace of the sheets and quietly made her way to the bathroom, her bare feet whispering against the cool floor. The shower called to her, a tempting escape of warmth and solitude she couldn't resist. As she stepped beneath the spray, the water enveloped her, a tender embrace that swept away the lingering shadows of the night, leaving only the thrill of what was unspoken. She shut her eyes, letting the steam wrap around her, a hazy embrace that provided a fleeting escape from the tangled emotions of her heart. The droplets glided over her skin, from her shoulders curved to the curve of her hip, each one a soft reminder of the secret closeness that had blossomed in the shadows of her room. Her body, sculpted by unwavering commitment, came alive with the water's embrace, a stark contrast to the indulgences of the night before. As the water flowed freely, washing away the remnants of her day, Mira turned off the tap, her heart racing as she reached for the soft towel, a moment of solitude before the world intruded once more. She dried herself quickly, deliberately avoiding the reflection that lingered. She wasn't ready to face the woman who looked back at her. A woman teetering on the brink of what was deemed acceptable. Wrapped in a silk robe that caressed her skin, Mira stepped out of the bathroom, her heart racing as she moved toward the kitchen. The penthouse was still, its hush amplifying the turmoil within her heart. The routine of making breakfast offered a fleeting escape, the simple acts of grinding coffee and slicing bread soothing her restless heart. The scent of coffee wrapped around them, dark and inviting, blending with the warmth of toast, a moment stolen from the world. Mira moved with a quiet grace, arranging the table with a tenderness that belied the tension in the air. Each careful placement of cutlery and pour of orange juice drew her closer to the moment she both craved and feared with Damien. As she poached the eggs, her heart raced, captivated by the fragile balance of time and heat, the whites embracing the trembling yolks like a secret love. Cooking became her sanctuary, a fleeting refuge from the tightness that gripped her heart. She arranged the food with a delicate touch, the bright colors of avocado and cherry tomatoes whispering secrets of her passion. As breakfast lay perfectly set before her, Mira paused, heart racing, to collect her swirling emotions. The rich scent of coffee and the elegantly arranged table whispered of a life she had crafted, a bittersweet comfort within these walls. As she beckoned Damien to her side, the delicate facade of normalcy began to crack, revealing the intense feelings that lay hidden beneath. As Damien stepped into the kitchen, an electric tension hung in the air, unspoken yet undeniable. Their eyes locked, a quiet understanding passing between them, hinting at the uncharted territory they were about to explore. They sat facing one another, the soft clink of cutlery against china breaking the heavy silence that enveloped them. The breakfast Mira had lovingly prepared sat between them, a fragile peace, a fleeting truce after their shared secret. Words hung in the air, barely breaking the silence, as they exchanged only the essentials, passing salt and pepper, murmuring about the meal's taste. Mira stole glances at Damien, her heart racing as she tried to decipher the unspoken feelings flickering across his face. His expression was a mystery, his gaze locked on the meal, as if it held secrets he dared not share. Mira finally shattered the silence, her voice unwavering even as her heart raced with unspoken longing. "About last night," she whispered, her fork clattering softly against the plate. "We have to discuss what transpired between us." Damien's gaze met hers, a flicker of vulnerability hidden behind a wall of caution. "I know," he replied, his voice steady yet laced with an unspoken longing. "But first, let's savor this moment together. We must gather our courage for the words that lie ahead." Mira nodded, surrendering to the moment's bittersweet pause. She sipped her coffee, the bitter warmth anchoring her heart in a fleeting moment of longing. As they shared their meal, an unspoken tension lingered, a haunting reminder that the night before had forever changed the course of their bond. They wore their masks of normalcy, yet deep down, they understood that the truth would soon claw its way to the surface, forever altering their world. The clink of cutlery against fine china echoed in the penthouse, a haunting melody that underscored the heavy silence enveloping Damien and Mira. The scrape of the chair leg against the hardwood floor pierced the silence, amplifying the unspoken tension that enveloped them, a heavy mist that blurred the lines of their once familiar world. Mira sat across from Damien, captivated by the way his throat moved as he swallowed, a subtle hint of the tension he tried so hard to hide. She understood that the moment for evasion had slipped away. The memories of last night clung to her like shadows, impossible to brush aside as easily as the crumbs scattered on their plates. With a heart racing and a storm brewing inside, Mira placed her fork down, the clatter echoing in the heavy silence of the room. "Damien," she started, her voice a delicate balance of ease and daring, laced with unspoken tension. "We need to talk about what happened last night, don't you feel it too?" Damien's eyes met hers for a brief moment, a shadow of exhaustion crossing his face before he quickly concealed it behind a facade of calm. "What can I even express?" he replied, his voice casual, yet his fingers betrayed him, tightening around the handle of his coffee cup as if holding on to a secret. Mira reclined in her chair, captivated by his gaze. She confessed her recklessness, a bittersweet truth hanging in the air. "What about you? Ah, you were my forbidden hero, weren't you?" Her smile was sweet, yet a shadow lingered in her gaze. "Yet, a part of me can't shake the feeling. Did you feel the thrill of the moment?" The question lingered, a daring challenge suspended between them, charged with unspoken tension. The question hung in the air, charged with unspoken tension, teetering on the brink of what should never be said, risking everything they had built together. Damien's cheeks burned with a deep crimson, a vivid contrast to the dark stubble that traced his jawline. "Mira," he whispered, his resolve faltering. "I swear, it wasn't what it seemed. I only wanted to be there for you." Mira shrugged, a careful facade of indifference masking the turmoil within. "Of course," she replied, her voice tinged with doubt, as if the words themselves were a secret they shouldn't share. "I'm not oblivious, Damien. I felt the spark in your gaze last night." She hesitated, letting her words linger in the air, observing the way he fought to keep his emotions in check. The air crackled with unspoken tension, heavy with the weight of their hidden connection. Damien's lips parted, ready to speak, but he hesitated, sealing his mouth and turning his eyes away to the remnants of his breakfast, a silent battle raging within him. Mira rose from the table, her movements fluid yet charged, a silent tension hanging in the air. "What if we just pause for a moment to feel this?" she whispered, her voice trembling with unspoken longing. "Let's pause this for now, until the storm inside us settles." Damien nodded, a wave of relief washing over him, yet a flicker of something deeper lingered in the air. "Yeah, perhaps that's for the best," he murmured, his voice a fragile breath. As Mira slipped away to her room, a rush of satisfaction coursed through her at the thought of having stirred something deep within Damien. Yet, beneath her confident facade, a flicker of doubt lingered, a haunting question about the wisdom of unearthing the unvoiced longings that had been exposed the night before. In the solitude of her room, Mira dared to ponder the weight of her choices. She had dared to stir the pot, seeking a spark from Damien, but for what purpose? Was it just a way to reclaim power in a moment that had slipped through her fingers? Or was there a hidden desire lurking beneath the surface? As she lay on her bed, gazing at the ceiling, Mira faced the painful reality she could no longer ignore. She danced on the edge of a perilous secret, one that threatened to tear their family apart and etch deep wounds into their hearts. Yet, despite the dangers, she felt an irresistible pull towards the edge, captivated by the thrill of what lay ahead and the seductive promise of the forbidden. In the quiet of her room, Mira shut her eyes, letting the whirlwind of her feelings wash over her, an intoxicating mix of longing, guilt, and an electrifying thrill for the unknown ahead. The day loomed ahead, an unwritten chapter that would challenge her bond with Damien in ways she never thought possible. The afternoon slipped away, shadows stretching across the penthouse floor, hinting at secrets best left unspoken. Mira lost herself in the quiet rhythm of dinner preparation, the sharp knife gliding through vegetables and the enticing sizzle of meat, offering a fleeting escape from her tumultuous heart. The kitchen, filled with shining appliances and enticing scents, was her sanctuary, a space where she could find solace and order, even as her heart felt like it was falling apart. Damien, perched at the kitchen island, observed her with a gaze that felt both unsettling and strangely comforting. His presence lingered in her heart, a forbidden comfort she craved, even as the lines between them faded into uncertainty. His silence felt heavier after their earlier conversation, a barrier that Mira both respected and longed to break down. "You've been quiet," she said, her voice cutting through the kitchen's stillness like a whisper of longing. The words lingered in the air, a silent recognition of the unspoken truth that neither dared to confront. Damien's eyes found hers, a fleeting spark of something unspoken crossing his face. "Just thinking," he replied, his voice wavering, but the tension in his gaze revealed a hidden turmoil he struggled to hide. Mira dropped the knife, her hands now liberated, moving passionately as she spoke. "We can't act like last night was just a dream, Damien," she said, her voice heavy with unspoken feelings. "A moment changed everything. A moment that seals our fate. We must confront this, to grasp what it holds for us in the future." The air between them buzzed with unvoiced longing, her words lingering like a secret too precious to share. Mira locked eyes with Damien, her heart racing with a blend of longing and fear, yet her resolve remained unshaken. As she turned away, her heart raced, fingers trembling as they found what she sought in the kitchen drawer, a secret longing hidden beneath the mundane. A bottle of gin, its golden hue a tempting promise in the fading shadows of the kitchen. With a swift motion, she retrieved 2 crystal tumblers from the cabinet, placing them on the counter with a sound that echoed their unspoken tension. "Maybe a drink will help us speak freely," she said, a playful smirk dancing on her lips as she filled the glasses to the brim. The gin flowed like a secret whisper in the quiet kitchen, a promise that could either soften their words or plunge them into the depths of the unknown. Damien's gaze was unreadable as she neared, offering him a tumbler. Their fingers brushed in that brief moment, igniting a spark of awareness that raced through Myra's veins. She pushed the feeling aside, seeking refuge on the far side of the kitchen island, lifting her glass in a quiet, unspoken toast. The first sip of gin ignited a fire within, its sharp sting echoing the intensity of what was to come, a bittersweet prelude to the secrets we dared to share. Myra's heart raced as Damien drank, the way his throat moved captivating her, his gaze locked onto hers with an intensity that felt both thrilling and dangerous. "You're right," he admitted softly, his voice a deep murmur that lingered in the air of the kitchen. "We can't keep up the facade, but is drowning our feelings in alcohol really the solution, Mira?" Mira shrugged, her fingers lingering on the curves of the tumbler, a silent ache in her heart. "It's not about finding an answer, Damien," she whispered, her voice trembling with unspoken feelings. "It's about allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, to reveal our truths to one another and to our own hearts. Perhaps the gin will guide us closer to that moment." As they sipped their drinks in a silence that felt more intimate than awkward, Mira couldn't shake the thrill of something forbidden blooming within her. She had dared to bring it up, compelling them to face the undeniable change between them. The road was risky, filled with hidden dangers and unspoken feelings, yet they pressed on side by side. The evening lingered with a delicate intimacy, masking the unspoken tension that had crackled between them before. They exchanged light words, a fragile waltz veiling the deeper truth that had drawn them together. The dinner Mira prepared felt hauntingly ordinary, a stark contrast to the unspoken tension that lingered between them. As the evening shadows deepened in the penthouse, an unspoken change lingered in the air. The gin Mira poured flowed through them, a warm wave that unfastened their words and blurred the lines between them, creating a thrilling yet unsettling intimacy. The air thickened, crackling with a longing that felt both thrilling and dangerous, mirroring the warmth of the drinks they held close. Damien's eyes, once averted, now lingered more often on the curves of Myra's form, a silent tension building between them. His eyes, deeper than before, lingered on her figure with a heat that felt forbidden, a quiet recognition of the longing that pulsed between them, hidden yet undeniable. "Mira," acutely conscious of her allure, savored the intoxicating grip of her femininity. The djinn sparked a daring boldness within her, a thrilling rush that urged her to test the fragile lines of their connection, drawing them closer to the edge of something forbidden. As she leaned in to set her drink down, her dress slipped slightly, unveiling a glimpse of skin that captivated Damien, pulling him closer to the edge of temptation. "Is there something stirring in your heart, Damien?" she teased, her voice a sultry whisper that ensnared him, pulling him deeper into her intoxicating allure. She observed, a pang of longing in her chest, as a blush spread across his neck, revealing the turmoil he fought to hide. As she reclined in her chair, the fabric of her dress clung to her, a tempting tease that stirred something forbidden within him. Mira was acutely aware of the danger, yet she couldn't bring herself to snuff out the sparks that ignited a longing she knew was risky for them both. Mira stood slowly, each movement charged with an unspoken tension, as the dance of desire played on between them. She crossed the room, pretending to pick up a fallen napkin, but the way her hips swayed and her legs parted as she bent down spoke volumes, revealing the delicate lace that clung to her curves, a silent invitation that felt both thrilling and wrong. The air crackled with an electric tension, a heartbeat that echoed between them, drawing them closer despite the unspoken rules that held them apart. The djinn worked its magic, peeling back the barriers to expose the undeniable longing they felt for each other. In that fleeting moment, as Mira straightened and met Damien's gaze, an unspoken bond formed, sealing their fate forever. With a daring heart, Mira stepped closer, each movement a quiet promise of what could never be fully spoken. Damien's breath caught as she drew near, his heart racing with the thrill of what was to come. When their lips finally met, it was a clash of desires, a fusion of breath that felt both daring and inevitable. The kiss ignited a rush of longing and sweetness, a moment charged with unspoken feelings that had simmered since last night. The kiss was a silent confession of hidden yearnings and secret passions, a reflection of the undeniable connection they shared, even as reason urged them to hold back. Myra's fingers tangled in Damien's hair, drawing him nearer, their kiss deepening with an unspoken yearning for more. Damien's hands, once still at his sides, now gripped her waist with a fierce intensity, a silent declaration of his undeniable feelings. Outside the penthouse, the world faded away, its demands losing all meaning against the fiery connection igniting between Mira and Damien. Their kiss was a daring leap across the divide of their unspoken desires. The kiss, once shy and uncertain, transformed into a fervent declaration of longing. A flood of emotions surged between them, unleashed since the night before. The taste of gin lingered between them, a sweet poison that ignited their desperate need to possess each other. Their movements, once careful, now pulsed with a desperate urgency, a thrilling edge that hinted at something forbidden. Myra's fingers traced the contours of Damien's back, her touch a silent yearning for deeper intimacy, a desperate craving for the electric thrill that ignited her very soul. Damien's touch deepened, his hands gliding over her curves, each caress a silent confession of his desperate longing. She felt the warmth of his hand linger on her shoulder, a moment stretching between them, unveiling the lace that clung to her curves, igniting a spark of longing between them. The fabric lay at her feet, a silken reminder of the desire that consumed them both. The space between them diminished, their closeness undeniable, leaving no space for modesty or doubt, as their hearts raced toward the inevitable. Every forgotten piece whispered secrets of their fleeting connection, a delicate path guiding to the hidden depths of Myra's sanctuary. On the soft expanse of her bed, they united with a desperate longing that felt almost reckless. The walls that once held them apart crumbled, surrendering to the heat of their unspoken longing. The titles of stepmother and stepson faded away, overshadowed by an undeniable longing that defied all boundaries and expectations. Myra's body responded to Damien's touch, every inch of her skin igniting with a thrill, as if his hands held the power to awaken her deepest desires. She lost herself in the warmth of his body, the way he anchored her to the bed, a bittersweet reminder that this was more than just a dream. It was a truth they faced, one laced with unspoken risks that lingered in the shadows of their hearts. Damien, too, found himself entranced by the woman before him. His gaze, heavy with longing, swept over her, filled with disbelief that she was truly there, surrendering herself to him with a wildness that mirrored his own. Their bond pulsed with an intensity that felt both exhilarating and wrong, a secret shared in stolen moments. Every kiss, every touch, ignited a spark, unveiling the hidden depths of their connection. The air was heavy with their unspoken desire, a heady mix of gin and the faint trace of their colognes. As they swayed together, an ancient rhythm pulsing between them, Mira felt the weight of the moment, charged with unspoken longing. This was more than a fleeting encounter, a moment lost in the heat of desire. It was a moment of no return, a leap into the unknown that bound their fates together forever. In the sanctuary of Myra's bedroom, the outside world faded away, its worries and complexities overshadowed by the electric pull between them. It was just Damien, their bodies entwined in a timeless embrace, a celebration of longing that felt both beautiful and dangerously close to the edge. Their connection ignited with an intensity that felt both exhilarating and wrong, each heartbeat a secret longing that begged to be remembered. Mira pulled away from Damien, her heart racing and cheeks flushed, caught in the thrill of their secret moment. With a teasing smile that hinted at their secret connection, she reached for the bedside table, her fingers wrapping around the smooth shape of her camera. Damien's gaze lingered on her, breathless and entranced, as she stood before him, bare and unapologetically beautiful. "What are you up to?" he whispered, his voice a husky murmur that revealed his unspoken longing. Myra's eyes sparkled with a hint of danger as she locked onto his gaze. "I want to capture this," she said, her voice steady, yet a blush betrayed her, revealing the delicate tension between her daring words and the hidden fragility within. "I long to hold on to this moment, wild and free, completely lost in one another." With a steady hand, she set the camera on its tripod, carefully angling it to capture their entwined bodies and the intense, unspoken feelings that filled the air. The camera adjusted, capturing the shadows and light that entwined around them, a silent reflection of their forbidden desire. As the recording started, Mira moved back to Damien, her body fitting against his in a way that whispered of stolen moments spent tracing the lines of each other. The camera's gaze couldn't extinguish their burning desire. It only deepened their longing, igniting a thrill that made their secret meeting all the more intoxicating. Their movements resumed, a delicate dance that was both passionate and yearning. The camera froze their stolen breaths, the soft sighs, and the fleeting moments of bliss that danced on their lips. It captured the pulse of their bodies, the fleeting changes in their gazes, and the silent connection that flowed between them as they moved through the delicate choreography of their passion. As they ascended, a yearning that felt almost wrong consumed Mira, pulling her deeper into Damien's eyes, her reality shrinking to just him, the man who captivated her completely. The camera, a quiet observer of their secret, kept recording as their restraint crumbled, plunging them into a whirlwind of forbidden bliss. Their breath came in quick, uneven gasps, a haunting melody to the undeniable spark that crackled between them. The camera's lens, glistening with the remnants of their passion, captured them as they lay entwined, breathless and vulnerable, lost in the aftermath of their secret connection. In the quiet aftermath, their bodies intertwined beneath the damp sheets, Myra's hand trembled as she reached for the camera, wanting to erase the evidence of their fleeting moment. The red recording light flickered and faded, casting them into the tender shadows of the dimly lit room. In a fleeting moment, she captured the essence of their secret, a choice that would change everything between them forever. Damien faced her, his gaze a blend of wonder and hesitation. "Mira, my heart races at the mere thought of you. What have we created?" he whispered, his fingers gently tucking a wayward strand of hair behind her ear. Myra's response was a tender kiss, a quiet promise of the path they had chosen together. "We've loved." She spoke softly, her words trembling like a secret in the air. "We've embraced a connection so intense, so undeniable, and I wouldn't change a thing." As the night deepened, they surrendered to the weight of sleep, their bodies entwined in a delicate embrace that felt both right and wrong. The camera sat forgotten in the corner, a silent witness to the emotions that neither of them could put into words, a quiet witness to a love that dared to break the rules. The morning light crept in, illuminating the tangled sheets and the peaceful figure of Damien, a bittersweet reminder of the night that had passed. Mira stirred, her body tingling with the aftermath of their fervent embrace, each ache a bittersweet reminder of the lines they had dared to blur under the cover of darkness. As she quietly slipped away from Damien's arms, each movement was careful, a tender dance meant to protect the peace of his dreams. As Mira cast a final, lingering look at the man who filled her heart with both ecstasy and anguish, she quietly slipped away, her thoughts a tempest of desire and despair. The cool marble floor soothed her bare feet as she walked to her home office, where her camera held the secrets of their stolen moments. With a flutter of nerves hidden beneath her determination, Mira switched on the camera and prepared to relive the moments from the night before. The screen came alive, exposing the secret moments that had blossomed within these walls. Their bodies intertwined, the air thick with the echoes of their shared longing, a bittersweet testament to a love that dared not be spoken. Mira felt the weight of the recordings, a dangerous secret that threatened to tear apart the delicate web of deception binding them together. With a trembling heart, she chose the files and pressed delete, witnessing the remnants of their secret passion vanish from the screen, one by one, until only the cold void of the camera's memory card remained. With every trace of their stolen night wiped away, Mira slipped into the sanctuary of the kitchen, her heart racing with the weight of what they had shared. As she brewed the coffee, the warm aroma wrapped around her like a secret, momentarily silencing the storm of emotions that threatened to spill over. The rich, dark beans, ground to perfection and pressed into the espresso machine's filter, whispered of her devotion, a small yet vital anchor amid the storm of her heart's turmoil. The rich aroma of coffee enveloped the penthouse, its warmth creeping through the hallways and softly brushing against the bedroom door, where Damien remained lost in dreams. The scent lingered in the air, a familiar whisper that pulled him from the warmth of the bed and beckoned him down the stairs to the kitchen. When Damien stepped into the room, his hair messy from sleep and wearing last night's clothes, Mira felt her heart skip a beat. His presence, so striking yet so unattainable, ignited a fierce yearning within her, a desire that thrived in the hidden corners of her soul. A spark ignited between them, a glance that held secrets and longing, a connection that felt both thrilling and wrong. In the depths of Damien's gaze, Mira felt the unspoken change between them, a quiet understanding of the delicate path they were now treading together. The air crackled with a dangerous blend of longing and fear, a connection that both excited and unsettled her. The espresso machine hissed softly, its sound a secret melody against the heavy silence that enveloped them. Mira averted her gaze, pouring her heart into the cappuccinos, her fingers moving with a practiced grace that masked the turmoil within. The milk, frothed just right, crowned the dark espresso, a delicate balance of light and shadow, comfort and risk, mingling in a heady mix that mirrored their secret connection. She pushed a cup toward Damien, her hands steady, masking the storm of emotions swirling inside her. "Good morning," she whispered, her heart racing beneath a calm facade. Damien's gaze locked onto hers as he reached for the cup, their fingers grazing in a fleeting, electric moment. The brief touch ignited a spark within Mira, a haunting echo of the forbidden passion they had tasted just hours before. "Morning," he murmured, his voice a soft, enticing whisper that lingered in the air of the kitchen. He sipped his coffee, eyes fixed on the cup, a quiet acknowledgement of the unspoken tension that hung between them. They lingered, the cold granite island between them a silent barrier, each consumed by their own tumultuous thoughts, wrestling with the weight of what they had done. The morning light, once a beacon of hope, now draped their world in shadows, whispering of the tangled emotions that awaited them. As they shared their coffee, a silence enveloped them, comfortable yet heavy with unvoiced feelings. Mira realized the moment for evasion had slipped away. Last night had changed everything between them, and now they had to face the truth of what they had become. "We need to talk," she started, her coffee cup meeting the counter with a sharp, deliberate sound. "What transpired between us last night? It alters the very fabric of our world, Damien. We both know it was more than a fleeting moment, that it held a weight we can't ignore." Damien's gaze met hers, a flicker of fear intertwined with a fierce resolve. "I know," he murmured, his voice a fragile secret. "I can't keep up this charade any longer. Last night's words were more than just fleeting thoughts, Mira. I'm completely drawn in. Yet, we must uncover what lies ahead. We must find a way." Mira nodded, her heart pounding with gratitude for his honesty, even as the weight of their secret loomed over her. "We must tread lightly," she whispered, her voice laced with urgency. "We must shield our hearts and those we love. We mustn't allow our love to unravel all that we've fought to create." They lost themselves in conversation, weaving through a maze of what-ifs and unspoken desires. They whispered about the delicate dance of keeping their love hidden, the urgency of setting boundaries to shield their hearts, and the necessity of silence that wrapped around their secret like a shroud. As the day faded, a flicker of hope ignited in Myra's heart, tinged with a bittersweet longing. Amidst the looming challenges, she found solace in the bond she shared with Damien, a connection that thrived on their unyielding resolve to face the intricacies of their love with sincerity. As the sun dipped low, bathing the city in a soft, golden light, they found themselves on the edge of a fragile understanding, a whisper of what could be. Their arrangement was imperfect, yet it held a promise of exploring their bond, all while clinging to the fragile stability of their family. On the balcony, as the sky shifted from blue to a blaze of colors, Mira felt the undeniable pull towards Damien, their hearts entwined in a love that danced on the edge of what was deemed acceptable. The path before them was uncertain, filled with challenges, yet as she grasped Damien's hand, their fingers entwined in a way that felt both thrilling and forbidden, a spark of hope ignited within her heart. In each other's arms, they found solace, their love a flickering flame in the shadows, daring to navigate the treacherous path that awaited them. The penthouse, once a mark of status, transformed into a hidden refuge for their love, a place where they could embrace the intensity of their bond, shielded from the watchful gaze and harsh whispers of society. As night descended and the city's lights flickered like distant stars, Mira and Damien found solace in their home, aware that their love, though secretive, was a powerful force, a testament to the intensity of desire and the resilience of the heart. Thank you for listening, have fun and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to update the latest stories.